Video start in 3, 2, 1. Intro start in 3, 2, 1. Go. Oh, 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 hey, welcome to the great storm. I know, the minute is much too long. I'll be your shining star. I am here, let's conquer fear and fly like a storm on into the heat of day. And I'll fight to fight as one. In the race, I'll save each and every one until this war is won. And then through the sword, flashing through the every inch of the power you possess in his hand, and ready to my command, my kingdom. Night of the wind. Oh, oh, hey, welcome to the end is here. I know, rain and feel glad the sky. The rest of you and I, rush, I'm gone, holding your crown high. I say, each and every one, till this war is won. And then to roll a sword slashing through the every inch of the power in you. Is that his hand, like a man, my kingdom, the night of the wind, none of the wind. Now the legend of massive force, the power, God is unshakable, never the hour. And video starts now. Hello, my wonderful, beautiful broskies and the wonderful, beautiful Maverick Nation. I am the Directional Maverick, and this is a little something, one of the little, some things that I said was going to be like a little surprise. I hadn't really decided on myself, but once I actually got to thinking, a lot of people really seem to not like Dragon Ball GT. But I do. That's just the thing. Another thing is, I've called him my bestest boy. Out of all the symbiotes. And a character that I actually kind of liked out of Dragon Ball GT was indeed Pan. Yeah, Pan was actually not that bad. I don't really think she was that bad. I don't know about you guys, but I don't think she was that bad. Anyways, this is basically going to be, seeing as I haven't ever done like a Dragon Ball What If before, and I know there are going to be people in the comments saying that, oh, GT isn't canon, so it doesn't count. Well, it does count because it has Dragon Balls, so screw it. And the only reason that Dragon Ball Evolution doesn't count for me is because Dragon Ball Evolution, even in my eyes, sucks. And the OCD returns. Sorry about that, guys, but the OCD, I guess it just decided to return. Anyways, yeah, I don't really like Dragon Ball Evolution all that much. And that is different from Dragon Ball GT. I do like Dragon Ball GT, but I don't like Dragon Ball Evolution. So, it is one saving grace. However, the fact that the first ever Dragon Ball What If I'm going to be doing is Dragon Ball GT, that's a whole new level of wow for me. Like, just wow. Like, good God. Technically, you could say that the big three saved Christmas was a Dragon Ball What If, but no, I say it's a big three What If. Like, all three of them in there. So, you would call it more of a big three What If than a Dragon Ball What If. Like, this is going to be Dragon Ball What If. Like, mixed in with something special. Out of all the symbiotes, my bestest boy is Carnage. You guys might be wondering, Dragon Ball GT, Carnage? One of these things is not like the other. Oh boy. Well, actually, I'm not going to be starting this off from the very beginning. I'm actually going to be starting this What If off from, like, the Baby Saga. When in the Baby Saga? Well, let's just say that Baby might have not been the only one infecting people. In fact, well, I believe they were fighting on Earth. I don't think they were fighting on the Tiffle planet. Well, whatever they were fighting on, let's just say, I guess, like, the last person they fought before, mainly dealing with Baby was General Rildo. Let's just say that General Rildo and his men had a little something, and whenever they got rid of General Rildo, well, for the time being, because, General Rildo could always pop up whenever he wants, because he's General Rildo. Just random shit. Basically, whenever they took out General Rildo and basically everything that General Rildo had, all of his men, they kind of released a beast that, General Rildo had concealed. General Rildo and his men. Like, they were doing a lot of bad stuff, sure, but one good thing that they were doing is they were keeping a certain beast concealed, because right from the get-go they were able to tell that whatever this thing was, it was not going to be good if it was let out into just any world. So yeah, basically General Rildo and his, cronies, basically, they were containing a certain special something, and whenever basically General Rildo got his shit wrecked by our dragon crew, Goku, Trunks, and Pan, basically they totally wrecked his shit, and like everything to deal with his shit. So yeah, basically, yeah, basically as the last resort to making sure that the thing didn't leave the planet, General Rildo would have let it be inside of him. But this wouldn't have really worked out because, well, non-compatibility. So this would have been even worse for him. He would have dealt he would have been hit with the Kamehameha even worse than in the original. Whenever General Rildo grabs onto the ship and Goku Kamehamehas him, yeah, General Rildo would have felt that even worse. And that's all because of the non-compatibility. And so whenever he finally just sinks down after being Kamehameha to death, that's basically Carnage's ticket to, basically hop. However, Carnage wasn't just going to let anyone inject him into themselves like how General Rildo kind of forced it. He didn't care about compatibility, he cared about the fact that, well, this thing's dangerous, and so if it will help everything, just put it in him regardless of compatibility. And Carnage is not about that. Carnage is about, what any symbiote would be about. A compatible host. And a strong one at that. And so, basically, after being in the custody of General Rildo for so damn long, and then, basically, General Rildo stuffing him inside of him, it wouldn't have really helped General Rildo that he was getting eaten from the inside out. Because, General Rildo being made out of what he's made out of probably wouldn't eat meat. Or eat anything, really. Because, I think they're cybernetic people. Like General Rildo's people, they're cybernetic robot aliens. So, I don't think they would eat anything. And so it would just kind of be starving Carnage. And so, yeah. Basically, whenever General Rildo got dealt that Kamehameha, not only would Carnage want to automatically jump ship, making the impact even worse, but seeing as he was starving his symbiote, Carnage couldn't give General Rildo the proper support. Already he couldn't give him the proper support, seeing as they were non-compatible, but seeing as General Rildo literally probably wouldn't eat anything, that kind of starves Carnage of what he needs. Meat. Because, General Rildo wouldn't eat anything. And that's a big no-no for any symbiote. So, yeah. Basically, Carnage would try to find some sort of crevice so that he could get deep into the ship and, travel throughout different ducts of the ship and see if you can find someone who, you know, might be a good compatibility. You can already tell that the kid won't do because, well, the kid with the tail and the funny looking hair, that's not gonna do. You can already tell that he would not be compatible with him. And as for the guy with the purple freaking hair, yeah, this isn't Super Trunks, so his hair is purple, not blue. So yeah, the kid with the purple hair, yeah. He's also checking, and non-compatibility with him either. And Carnage is still continuing to slither along, and he sees that apparently, somehow, this girl is supposed to be that boy's granddaughter. Like, how does that even work? And, Carnage is just like, enough questioning it, I have to actually see if she's compatible. And lo and behold, out of everyone in there, Pan is the one who is compatible. Yes, this series will officially be known as What If Pan Had the Carnage Symbiote? And so, yeah. Basically, this would be fresh off of General Rildo's whole deal, like finally finishing him off. So, they would finally want to go back to Earth and deal with everything there. And that's whenever Baby's whole thing would be. Basically, we're gonna get to things. However, Carnage, not wanting to be starved any longer, would automatically hop onto Pan while she was asleep. Just slop straight into there, go straight through the skin. Like any cuts or bruises she may have. Use that as a vantage way to get into the bloodstream. And Carnage would indeed find some cuts and scrapes, probably from some sort of fights that they were getting in. And Carnage would think, perfect. This is perfect. This is perfect. He could just slip straight into the bloodstream. And, Pan would want to know what's going on, why her entire dream just went black. And that's whenever she would see one sole being, and that would be Carnage. And Carnage would basically be like, I am Carnage. I am a symbiote. At least that is what most call us. We are from the planet Clintar. And, as you can probably guess from the nick, symbiotic relationships are mostly our game. And seeing as it's a symbiotic relationship, and we're the symbiotes, that would make you the hosts. And Pan would be like, wait a second, huh? And Carnage would just be like, I see. Basically, it would just be like, an awkward, talk. Like, Carnage wouldn't know. Well, actually, Pan wouldn't really know if she could actually trust something that looked like, what Carnage looks like. And so Carnage would try to appeal to Pan, but it wouldn't really be working out all too well. That is until shit starts going down with Baby, and all of a sudden they get to that scene where, all of the stuff is going through Goku, and basically the old Kai and Kabito Kai, basically they stretched Goku's tail out, and so he's finally going into the transformation. But first you got that Golden Ozaru scene. Basically, Goku's wrecking the entire place. He's just going rampant. And we'll Pan, we'll just get all teary-eyed. And, well, Carnage would just be like, ugh, disgusting. And, well, Goku would indeed, slim down to the iconic transformation, Super Saiyan 4. That's when he would just be like, Pan, let me do this. And Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Baby they would just, Baby Vegeta would just be going at it. Tussling with each other. And then Baby would he would eventually turn the tables with the whole Blood Swaves machine, and, he would become Great Ape Baby Vegeta. And start to just turn the tables all over. That is until something starts to egg on to Pan a little. Just the sight of seeing her Grandpa Goku in this state, just being beaten the crap up. Just getting mollywopped by Baby. It would just destroy Pan. And Carnage would just be like, you're just going to cry? Why not do something about it? And Pan would just rebuttal with, what exactly do you think I can do about any of this? And Carnage would just be like, yes, you're right. Maybe not you, but we can. And basically, Pan would be like, what do you mean, we? And Carnage would basically be like, remember Symbiote? Symbiosis? You give me free reign, and I give you the power. And Pan would just basically be like, so, it's true what you were saying. I was doubting you because I wasn't really sure if something like you could tell the truth. I guess I judged a book by its cover a little bit too early. Well then, I guess it's time. If we can do anything about it, then we need to do something about it now. Carnage, You said your name was Carnage, right? And Carnage would be like, yes, listening. Like Carnage listening. And Pan would just be like, make it to where we can do something about it. I'll be up for anything, really. I just can't look at my Grandpa Goku not like this any longer. Baby's going to have to pay. And, well, Carnage is just like, well, why didn't you say so? Is his name really Baby Vegeta? I guess that's the person he's currently possessing now. Even I have to admit his form of symbiosis is rather barbaric and uncivilized. And Ben would just be like, that's because it's not a symbiosis. He's completely taking them over without any of their consent. Even Vegeta. And Carnage is like, oh, he's that kind of guy. Well then, looks like we have a present for him. Now, say it with me, Pan. 3. Pan would be like, 3. Carnage would say, 2. And Pan would be like, 2. 1. And Pan would be like, 1. And all of a sudden, it would just develop the suit around Pan. Well, Pan is small, so it wouldn't look too intimidating at first. That is until you realize what exact symbiote she has. A Carnage symbiote. And plus, she's powerful enough on her own. And so, basically, wondering really what to do, Carnage would just be like, well, if you can't really tell yourself, then allow me to enter cruise control. I'll deal with this ape. I'll deal with him real good. Pan trusting Carnage a little bit more, though reluctantly still trusting him just a little bit more, does indeed give him a little bit of free reign for some cruise control. And all of a sudden, Baby, almost about to deal a killing blow with a fist raised up high. And just about like, now you die! And that's whenever, all around his fist, there would be tendrils wrapped around it. Red tendrils. And Baby would be like, well, what's this? That's whenever Carnage would tell Pan, we can shape-shift. Time to match the big guy's size. It is doable after all. What do you take me for, a fool? Now that we have him where we want him, it's the perfect time to do it. And so Carnage would grow to the size of Great Ape Baby Vegeta. And, just be like, time to spread some carnage. And just strike him down with one of his claws. Openly clawing open, just like freaking split straight into Grade 8 baby Vegeta's face. And, Grade 8 baby Vegeta would be like, how dare you? Whatever kind of monster are you? I'll kill you in an instant! Revenge Death Ball! And Carnage would be like, oh, this is just priceless. This is rich. I love this. And Carnage would just bring up one hand and smack the Revenge Death Ball. And in no time, it would be sent basically hurling back at Baby, sending him up into the air, almost like some sort of spirit bomb. And Baby, basically Grade 8 Baby Vegeta, would just be like, no, 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 no. I can't stop it. And, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, finally able to get up, will basically just send a Kamehameha into the Revenge Death Ball, and that would basically send Baby careening completely into the sun, just completely vaporizing him. Even if he tried to reform, it wouldn't really work because, he's inside the freaking sun. And that's something I only really think Nova Shenron could survive, considering, Nova's Shenron. But that's later on in the story. And basically, Goku would want to know who the hell this person is. This giant-ass monster. And why they helped him. And basically it's like, oh, the first part is easy. Why don't we shrink down back to normal size? And basically, shrink down back to the size of Pan. And, Goku would be like, that's weird. You're kind of the same size as my granddaughter. And that's whenever part of Pan's face would allow to be shown. And, Carnage would still be talking. And he'd be like, we are Carnage. We are both Pan and Carnage. We are Carnage. And Pan would be speaking now, and she'd just be like, yeah, I couldn't really stand it any longer. What it looked like, you getting thrashed on like that. I couldn't take it. So, this guy, who had been pretty much in my head ever since that whole thing with General Realta, whenever we finally got rid of him, I finally, took his idea into consideration. And, well, now this. Grandpa Goku, are you alright? And basically Goku would be like, what exactly are you? And Carnage would just be like I said, I'm Carnage. I'm a symbiote from Clinton. At least that is what you call us, symbiotes. Because of our need to bond to a host. My host, my newest host, just so happens to be your granddaughter here. And I can't be helped. That General Realdo guy, as a last-ditch effort to keep me contained, wanted me to be inside his body. And that's why he was so frail whenever you finally defeated him. He had literally pretty much starved himself out. By not giving me what I needed, I had to eat his insides. It was the only way I could really survive. And even then, it wasn't really anything with nutrients. I found that out pretty quick. However, I still needed to eat. So, that's the reason why he looked the way he did whenever you finally, 69'd him. Eh, like you did. And, Goku would just be like, so ever since the whole General Rildo thing, you basically just hopped aboard our ship, and, and Carnage would basically finish his sentence for him, and be like, looked for the most compatible person aboard the vessel. And whenever I pretty much got non-compatibility with both you and the one, I believe you call him Trunks. What a laughable name. The Pan's not much better. However, she was the only one who I was compatible with. And oddly enough, it would seem rather cozy in here, now that I think about it. It's more or less her willingness to go along with my way of doing things, as long as it doesn't involve any of her friends or family getting hurt. If I can save you from harm's way, then she'll basically bend down on one knee for me. That's basically what I've been able to figure out while inside her head. She cares that much about all of you. You should be so thankful and feel so lucky that you have someone like her around. And also someone like me. But that's besides the point. Are you going to tell that Trunks about me? And Trunks will be like, no need to, I heard everything. And basically, whenever all of this was pretty much undone, and everything happened how it happened, but Piccolo would still kind of die. That would still kind of be a thing. But hey, Earth would eventually become restored because, the whole deal with the Black Star Dragon Balls and all that. Eventually, Earth would be restored, but Piccolo would still stay where, he stayed. After he basically, went with the Earth the first time. And basically, that would be a thing. So, yeah. Gohan and Videl, how they would react to all this, knowing that Pan has an alien inside of her that's pretty much bonded to her now. Pan would indeed admit it does feel, a lot cozier with Carnage around. And even Giru kind of takes a liking to Carnage after, Carnage being like, we didn't even have tech like this back at our home. It's so much different. You say it was able to acclimate to your dragon radar and literally become the dragon radar. Acclimate so far that it actually became the thing that it took? Let me see that. And Gero would be like, Gero, Gero, Gero. And it would just be like, hold still, you... Man, get this thing to hold still. And Pan would be like, Gero, it's fine. Carnage isn't going to hurt you. And Carnage is just like, no. I wouldn't get any satisfaction out of killing a robot. And to me, that's still what you are. No matter how high-tech and advanced you seem to be, you're still a robot to me. And Pen is like, but Gero is still also our friend, remember? He's my friend, which means, well, you know. And Carnage is like, fine, he'll be an acquired taste of friendship, I guess. And don't you dare act like you don't know what I mean whenever I say acquired taste. And Pen is just like, geez, you're such a sour, plus you're like such a sourpuss, Carnage. Whenever it comes to meeting new people. Took you forever to get used to Grandpa Hercule. Grandpa Hercule Satan. And Carnage would be like, well, whenever you say his full name, that does give me a little bit of a chuckle. Hercule Satan. And the people like him so much. It's so... oh, never mind. It's nothing that any of you need to worry about. Just a little something I find quite hilarious. Especially since he's also your grandpa. And your other one, Son Goku, I believe that's his name. And Pan will be like, yep, Son Goku. And Carnage would just be like, apparently he's supposed to be like the strongest warrior that Earth has at its defense. And yet that baby guy was chewing him up and spitting him out once he turned into that golden, ape form. Then again, he was holding, that Vegeta guy hostage. And him and your grandpa are indeed rivals. I can see just how much Vegeta tries to surpass your Grams. And every time one of them surpasses the other will surpass them afterwards. It's a constant, endless cycle of, well, boredom, if you ask me. I mean, I get it keeps them motivated and with something to do, but this is a little much, don't you think? Like, literally, do you see the number on there? I can't even actually believe it can hold that type of gravity. Stupid little... what do you call this thing again? And Pan is like, gravity chamber. And Gero would just be like, Gero. And Carnage would just be like, shut up, you have your own tin can. Whatever. Gravity chamber. Literally, 500 times Earth's normal gravity. What is this guy's deal? Oh, God. Like, and he just trained normally like everyone else. And, well, Pan is like, really? Train normally? I don't think you know as much about us as you think you do, Carnage, if you think any one of us trains normally. Well, except for, certain exceptions, but that's a whole thing for a whole nother time. And Carnage would just be like, oh, yeah, that's right. Whole room of spirit and time BS. Thanks, green weirdo. Now, my head's even more bamboozled than it was before, whenever you guys were talking about that thing. Apparently now there's pretty much no limits to this thing. As long as you can keep your mental fortitude, well then, it should be easy for us to go in there, because, if you ask me, it shouldn't be that hard. And Parents like, no. I can already tell your type, Carnage. And going in the room inside the room of spirit and time, even with the, alterations that Dende has made to it, as the Guardian of Earth, the new Guardian, after Kami, even after all the alterations, the room of spirit and time is still the room of spirit and time. So yeah, no. And Carnage would just be like, well then what is there to actually do that's not boring girl stuff? Ugh, don't you ever just want to, kick some loser's ass or something? And Pam would be like, oh, you mean like criminals? Well, you seem to be the kind of type that always wants to go on the extreme. Meaning that most of the people we stopped, we would stop them by killing them. If we did it your way. And Carnage is like, and what's so wrong about that? And Ben is like, buddy, the people that do the killing, they only do the killing for certain reasons. Like what happened with Baby? He had to be killed. There was no other way to stop him. However, with just normal crooks, you don't have to go that far, or at least you shouldn't have to. And Carnage is like, you keep on giving that same demonstration, as if you think I would have already forgotten about that loser by now. Well, the way we handled him, seems like pretty much like a loser. Can't believe he gave you guys so much trouble. And Pam would just be like, sheesh, why do I even talk with you? And Carnage would just be like, because you would be bored without me. Not having much of a friend to actually talk to and understand what they're saying. I can actually translate what Gyro says for you. And Penny is like, well, that is one useful thing that you're able to do. And, well, other stuff. But, I never knew what Gyro was actually trying to say to me before, you came along and actually said you were able to translate. I just thought he was just saying his name. And, it was some sort of robot mumbo-jumbo. Well, you came and proved me wrong. Okay, fine, Carnage. We'll do the whole vigilante thing. but only kill whenever I say that it's okay, that we've reached that point of no return. And I think you know what I mean by point of no return. People that have to be dealt with that way. Not just any sort of willy-nilly, only people that have to be dealt with that way. Is that understood? Because if it isn't, you aren't getting out. And Carnage is just like, but I want to be your suit again. Obviously, I mean, it's nice in here, but, being actually out there and, inside of you at the same time, it's rather cozy, tingly feeling, like a good sensation that I can't get enough of. And Pan's like, then you'll behave. And Carnage is like, fine, mother. And Pan would just be like, you too. And Carnage would just be like, whatever. Just get us on with the road. And Pan is like, well, we have to, actually spot something being done before. Or you actually, know people that are causing trouble. And Carnage is like, well, you are indeed right about that. And, well, Pan would also be like, and, well, I haven't really trained all that much with your powers, seen what you can do. I've seen some of it, whenever you were dealing with, grade 8 baby Vegeta, but, if we're to actually be able to coexist with each other in battle, in the midst of battle, you know what I mean? We're gonna have to get the whole feel down of everything. And Carnage would just be like, you're also right about that. Fine. Well, we can start by your physical improvements. And Pan will realize, like, physical improvements? Like, lifting and, like, speed? Like, both running and flying? And Carnage would just be like, yep. Well, I remember something being said about the way this Z-sword thing was broken. I can't exactly remember the name of the material off the tip of my tongue. However, I do believe if we were to request, we could get a large amount. See what we could do with it. And Pam would be like, okay, so just how big of a large amount are you talking? And basically, Carnage would be like, well, considering your heritage and, well, your training thus far and even battle experience thus far, I'd say 2 million kilo. And Pan is like, 2 million kilo of that stuff? And Carnage is like, oh, I promise it will be nothing. With our power. And so that stuff that actually was used to break the Z-Sword, even though it was on accident, basically 2 million kilos worth of that, basically just plopped out of nowhere by Carnage's request. Because, they admitted that they were doing some training, and that apparently Carnage can help improve Pan. Pan didn't really understand what Carnage meant by help improve. That's whenever Carnage, started swiftly moving, his hands around, and all of a sudden, certain, workout tools were made, and all of the same composition. 200, like, not 200, 2 million kilo worth of the stuff, but all, like, the same amount, like, different types. So, basically, kept the same amount of weight. However, it's like different segments. So, Ben is like, how in the hell? And Carnage is like, oh, I have my ways. And so basically, it's like starting off by like bench pressing, lift with the forearms. So, just bench press that 2 million kilo of that, extreme material that broke the Z sword. And, Pan and Gohan would kind of freak out whenever they realized what was actually going on. However, they would also freak out even more whenever they realized Pan didn't have a problem with lifting it. Like, literally, she was like, is this really it? Because if so, I don't feel a thing. And you aren't even coding me. Is this just the power of the symbiote in general? And Carnage is like, not just any symbiote, a Carnage symbiote. This stuff, this is a bunch of baby material. I can't believe the hardest stuff that the Kais could think of, or at least that specific Kai could think of, it's just so weak. The roughest and toughest stuff that they could think of, and it's so weak. Now for legs. Unless we should get some workout done down there. And, Pam would be like, well, of course, like, why not? I mean, if we're gonna work out the arms, then we should work out the legs. It's the only, logical thing to do. And after a complete and total workout of both arm and legs, Connor's just like, well, what do you think we should do now? And Pan is just like, well, I guess it's like a cardio testing. So I guess do the running first and then go for the flying. And, well, basically, there were just basically this big field big enough to fit like 5 Boeing 7-something-7s. The big-ass planes, like 5 of them. Basically, this field big enough to fit 5 of those. And, basically, markings like all the way around. And that's what Pan was supposed to run. And, she was going to time herself and see how long it took for her to get from start to finish. And so basically it's like Pam would be like 3, and Carnage would be like 2, and Pam would be like 1. And they're like, it was just like, and all of a sudden, like, you would just hear, holy, and just like, like Hercule will be like, Pan, are you okay? And Pan would be like, I'm over here. And, she would have actually gone several miles, like, after the finish line. And been like, okay, we went all the way around. And let's see what it actually clocked in on it. And then it would be like, zero point 0.2 seconds. And, she would not be able to believe her eyes. It'd just be like, that's insane. We weren't even trying. That was just like a jog for us. And we got 0.2 seconds? Pan's actually kind of afraid to try running. Especially since they basically tore up the entire track just by, going their jogging speed, which ended up clocking them in at 0.2 seconds. I remember I said, like, fitting 5 Boeing whatever planes in there. That's how big it is. That's how big the field was. Or at least while it was still there. And so basically, the challenge Pan was going to give herself for the flying was basically to fly from, Hercule's little pen suite, Grandpa Hercule Satan's little penthouse suite, all the way over to Mount Paozu where, Grandpa Goku lives. So basically, go from one grandpa's residence over to the other grandpa residence, and then back. And, in flying. And, well, try to go at the same pace, jogging pace, just to get a feel around. That's basically what Pan was trying to do, just to get a feel for it. And she ended up tearing the track. So at least now they were flying, they couldn't really tear up anything, could they? And so it would basically be like, Pan would be like 3, and Carnage would be like 2, and then Pan would be like 1, and be like, and all of a sudden, it's like, they would just, like, their eyes would kind of be blind, and, they would just hear a voice, oh, hey, Pan, and automatically they would recognize the voice, Grandpa Goku? Wait, what the? And they would just recognize, same time as they're running, 0.2 seconds. And, they decide to continue to train this because, technically a lot of other members in her family can go a lot faster than 0.2 seconds. So, the stuff is indeed trained. The arm strength, the leg strength, the cardio, like land and sky. So yeah, that basically they would be doing repetitive training on that. And whenever it came to all of the symbiote abilities, basically Carnage's only real job would be to get her familiar with the abilities. So she could basically call upon them whenever they were needed. Just basically get a better connection with Carnage. And eventually, Pam would be like, that's the last one. I did it! And she would just fall on her back and be like, I finally did it! And Carnage would just be like, yep, and now I'm hungry. I think you're hungry too. And Pam would be like, you're right, I am. And it's just like, which means we are. We're hungry. We are Carnage. We are hungry. And Pam would just be like, okay, what would be nice to eat? This, and this. And the person at the marketplace that Pam would be visiting would be like, well, that is a lot of stuff, Missy. And Pam would be like, one of my grandpas is rich, rich AF, so here. And just hands like a bunch of money. And so, Pam would just be like, well, looks like we stocked up on everything we'd pretty much need. And, Carnage would just be like, finally meat. And Pam would be like, just so I don't reject it, because I know how much you would complain if I did, we are cooking it. And giving it the right seasoning as well. And Carnage would be like, well, as long as you don't reject it, I'm fine. Though, I will indeed admit, raw meat is a lot more savory. Especially whenever the raw meat is freshly dead. Just barely still alive, just clinging on to the state of freshly dead. However, in order to keep it down, I do indeed see that you'll need it cooked. How troublesome. Anyways, basically, Pan would just let Carnage go through all the motions, because Carnage, being a very intelligent being himself, would indeed know how to prepare food. And, well, with all the right seasonings, it seems Pan and Carnage both like most of the same things whenever it comes to seasonings on prepared meat. That's about to be heated up to perfection. And so, Pan would just be like, remember, we eat with a fork. And, well, Carnage would just be like, fine. But only because your parents would have a heart attack if they saw us not eating with a fork. And so, it wouldn't take all that long. Even though they'd be eating with a fork, it's still Carnage in there. He's still gonna go crazy over the meat. So, they'd be done with it in no time, savoring all that flavor deep down inside of them. And Carnage just being like, yes, this is the good shit. Why'd you buy so much, though? I mean, a certain amount could sustain us for quite some time. You seem to have bought enough to feed 1,000 us's. And then Pan, reminds Carnage how certain members of her family kind of have this whole metabolism thing, because of their training. And now that they're training, kind of have to stock overhaul. And Carnage is like, oh yeah, that's right. Well, this has indeed been very interesting. I wonder what the future will bring us. Now that baby is finally out of the way, what do you think will happen next? I bet it will be something very exciting, don't you think? We should indeed get on that whole thing you were talking about, if I behaved. And Pan is like, also while we're doing the work. And Carnage is like, you still take all the fun out of it. And Pan is like, listen, the ones that we have to kill, you can, override my body and kill them for me, okay? Is that a good enough deal? But only whenever we have to, the ones that we have to kill. Only then. Okay? And Carnage will just be like, deal. And, that will just be that because I'm not about to get into the, Super Android 17 saga, and I'm not about to get into the Shadow Dragons. No siree. I'm just giving you guys a little bit of a taste of the future. I just had this on like a little special to be in the background. Something interesting, like a food for thought. Like food for thought. To keep your gray matters going. Anyways, Alonzi and Adas's cause Dark Shadow Maverick is OUT out of here. Like, favorite, subscribe, something about the description. And Adas's.